Hello, beautiful people. Happy Friday. We made it. Woo! Welcome back with another episode of, we are back with another episode of Point of View. Willie Montague is back with us to join the conversation. And trust me, we've got a lot to get into. Oh, you clap
Thank
for Willie,
you.
please.
I'm gonna get together.
Yes. Coming up, Elon Musk's alleged drug use and family drama brought up some major concerns during the Trump campaign, and it's making headlines again. Plus, we have some newly released footage from the night of the incident between Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion, and let's just say it might change a few minds. Later, we'll dive into Girlfriend's Guide with Willie, and of course, Mind, Body, and Soul. So come on in and join the discussion. If you're watching us live, feel free to jump in the chat. We want to hear from you. You're watching POV. Elon Musk is making headlines again. And this time, it's not just about rockets or Teslas. So he's officially stepped back from his role with the Trump campaign. But the why, that has everyone talking. According to the New York Times, the word is, while working closely with Trump, Elon's personal life and alleged drug use were spiraling. We're talking ketamine, mushrooms, custody battles, and even surprise baby drama. Okay, are you surprised? So now that he's stepping back, is it too little, too late?
But Willie, we would
Why y'all looking at me
love
for?
for you to step in and tell us what's going on with Mr. Musk.
Yes, please.
Okay, well, so here we go. I see this week has been all about Trump, now Trump's people. Y'all just can't get enough of the great, big, Make America Great President, Donald Trump. But outside of that, Elon Musk, like any other human being, you act like he's like a god of some sort, like he doesn't have a life or things. If someone to that magnitude goes through things, they may use a couple of drugs, but that don't mean that he's out there like, slinging it and selling on the streets. Have you not known people in your own personal life that are struggling and going through drug abuse?
No.
You don't. Now, Raquel, you know you lying.
Not in my life. I have not.
She said that with the straightest face. No.
You don't know nobody struggling in drugs.
I don't. No.
Praise God.
Praise God.
Well,
Amen.
praise,
Amen.
I'm praising.
Yeah, I definitely, I'm not a fan
Elon
of
Musk, I know
Elon
now.
Musk, but I do empathize with, this substance abuse thing that he's going through. And I feel like a lot of this goes on, in that celebrity lifestyle, period. It's just, what happens. You go to a few parties. And this is the thing. This is why I feel like now, it's a little off topic, but this is why I feel like they maybe might need to cut Diddy just a little bit of slack, because all of these people is doing Diddy party activities, and I'm sure they've been in a few back doors.
Well, I don't know
The
about
richest
that.
man in the world is so depressed, having so many issues. Boo-hoo.
Yeah.
The Detective CEO admits that using ketamine for depression, where should we draw the line between medical treatment, and substance abuse?
So I'll say this about ketamine. Ketamine is used for depression. It can be medically prescribed to you for that purpose. Can people abuse it just like people can abuse anything else? This does not mean that he didn't start off. I could imagine there being a level of depression or anxiety. You're exempting him from human nature just because he's attached to Donald Trump.
You think that's what it
I
is?
didn't say that.
I know that's what it is.
Okay.
Y'all do this every day.
Oh,
Okay. Well, maybe he's depressed because he had that baby just drop out of nowhere.
Where it dropped out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So now he can't have children. Y'all didn't say nothing about Nick Cannon with all his 15 children.
Well, he never was
Stop it.
abusing
We say it all the
ketamine.
time.
You don't know what he was abusing just because
Well,
it hasn't been made relevant to us. This
the
is what I'm
richest
talking
man
about.
in the world
I'm
is
reclaiming my
depressed.
time. Don't cut me off.
No,
Now I'm trying to
it's
tell you.
not just about the money. I do feel bad for him, but it's just so crazy to hear how
I
it's
don't.
playing out with people so close to him, saying that he was abusing it so much so that he was urinating on himself.
Oh.
That's true. That's what they said.
Wow.
That's what substance abuse is. I'm talking about the process that he is a human. People go through
I don't know
things.
if he's a human, though.
Okay,
That is up for debate.
Okay. Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
He is a tech CEO.
But at the end of the day, people go through things, and just like if he should be a human, not a lizard person,
Well.
y'all stay y'all watching too much TikTok.
Thinking about him urinating on himself, that makes me feel like maybe he isn't a robot after all. Because I'm sure the robots don't have that capability yet.
Lizards do.
Do you think that the media coverage is really like blowing it up out of proportion? It's influencing the public perception. You know how media does it. You think it's true? You think they're making up stories?
Of course, especially like
What?
You think this is true.
Crime
really.
News Network.
Just because
He answered a little too fast.
You know that it's true.
Right.
He answered a little too fast for my liking to even process the question.
I
You want to hear it
processed
again?
it. I'm a quick thinker. Crime News Network, CNN,
Oh, okay.
continue to always spy those lies out because that's all that they're doing. It's fake media, fake news.
Well, apparently Tesla's like, look, Elon, you need to come back here and give us 40 hours per week. So that's where they're standing right now with Tesla.
Tesla told him that?
Yes, Tesla told him, get on over here. Get to work. Stay in your lane, man. All right.
They must be down bad.
So this case continues to unfold. Over the last couple of weeks, new information has been dropping left and right about what really went down that night between Megan Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez. And now, newly released footage might completely change everything we thought we knew. A key witness claims he saw a woman fire the gun that night. Plus, Megan was more concerned about going to jail, her image as an entertainer, and she even stated herself that she was not shot. It was just glass. Take a look.
Do you think we're gonna go to jail? What's that? Do you think we're gonna go to jail? I don't know. We're trying to figure it all out. As long as you guys cooperate with us and you guys tell us what happened, we'll go accordingly, okay? But if you guys are not telling us, if you guys are, then I don't think...
I really cannot go to jail.
Okay.
I cannot have that on my image.
Okay. So how did that happen to you?
Glass.
Glass? Where?
Where we were coming from.
But you got shot?
I didn't get shot.
Oh, you did it?
No, ma'am. No, sir.
What y'all think? You think she telling the truth? Maybe
think-
glass got in her foot. She
I
got shot.
think in that moment she was telling the truth, but I feel like, and I'm going to keep on saying it, Megan has a whole team and staff surrounding her, and conspiracy theorists say that because Tory did not want to sign to Rock Nation is the reason why they slammed him into the jail and just like are really keeping him there.
Wow. Because I really feel like this evidence is new evidence that has come.
Not,
and they had to have it already.
Exactly. It's not the fact that it's new because this is a body cam footage.
Yeah,
so
they had to have
they
it.
already had this footage. It's just a matter of why all of a sudden now, after 2 years and him almost losing his life in jail, is this being released?
Right. And
to the public,
and a
at that.
witness has come forward.
Right.
More than one witness.
More than one. Yeah, that's really interesting to me because he had a team of lawyers that's supposed to work for him. Mm-hmm. You think he got a fair trial?
No.
You think they were
I also
working
think
for
that
him?
he was really trying to save Kelsey in that moment.
Really?
Like, I don't think that he wanted Kelsey or Megan to go to jail. So I feel like he was trying to do the right thing or what he thought was right in the moment because he was sleeping with them both.
Oh, he was sleeping with them both.
So they say, allegedly.
Okay. Listen.
So he was innocent all along of these charges.
I absolutely think he was innocent. I don't think that he fired the gun. I think Kelsey fired the gun, but she also asked for complete, immunity?
Yeah.
Before everything happened. So she's safe.
Uh-oh.
Good going on you, girl.
We'll see. We'll see at the end of the day. But, I also feel like this kind of goes back to a little bit, and I free Tory, but a little bit of, in the black community, brown people, we have this, you don't want to be a snitch type, thing. And so I feel like Tory is somewhere caught in the middle of that. But, I wish Trump would have gone and written a boy in on the pardon, but I'm so happy that Todd Chrisley is out, and I'm mad that I wasn't around to have that conversation with y'all. But just in case y'all want to know, baby, I'm happy that Todd Chrisley is a free man, okay?
That's really crazy.
Yeah.
I'm glad you wasn't here for that conversation.
They been eating me up in the comments from my little, comments on the shade room and stuff, baby. But it's all right, baby. I'm standing where I'm at, and I like Todd, Chrysalis, Savannah, all of them, the grandma and everybody.
So it's okay.
It's fine with me.
Okay.
Lord.
Everybody else in America
act
is trying
big
to
and bad
evade
now.
taxes.
We can't pick and choose when we want to be safe.
Right, where we want to be right.
Yeah, I
we
know,
wanna
and
be
we
is
also
correct.
can't decide for others what is right or wrong. We got to make sure we know it for ourselves, and that's what I'm doing. So y'all can feel however y'all want to feel about it. I just had to put my 2 cents in for my good man that just got out.
Wow,
Still looking
y'all.
good, baby. They had him with the good one in prison.
That is
Okay.
disgusting.
Yes, I feel the same. Okay, so much of this case with Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion has shaped our perception based on these lies. So now we get in some facts.
I just can't believe she sat up there and Gail face and cried and lied like that with not a tear falling.
And a documentary.
That's your girl.
And a
You love
documentary.
her.
I
Stick
do.
beside her.
Listen, I do love her as an artist, and I'm gonna keep saying that. I love her as an artist, just like you love Todd
Can't
Chrisley,
stand
raggedy
behind.
ass,
Wrong.
as an entertainer. And TV personality when he be committing fraud with his wife.
Lord,
Yeah,
Jesus.
but I
$30
love.
million.
Yes, I love Meg Thee Stallion.
Thank you.
Allegedly
Country.
last. I love Meg Thee Stallion as a entertainer. I do not know that woman as a person.
She entertained us and she told us
I
that man
really-
shot her in the foot. That was entertainment.
I really hope that this unfolds the way that it's supposed to and justice is served.
Free Tory.
Wow. Well, there y'all have it. We have to take a quick commercial break, but don't move. We'll be right back with Girlfriend's Guide and Mind, Body, and Soul. Stay tuned, y'all, because you're watching POV.
Free Tory.
For tuning in on social media. It is finally Friday and I got a question. So, what is y'all's ultimate guilty pleasure?
Well, y'all already know one of mine. My first guilty pleasure is crab legs with no kids around.
Oh, wow.
And the second one I need to give up,
No
and I'm
kids.
praying for deliverance, is Red Bull.
Oh, really?
That thing got me a chokehold.
Oh, no. Mine is bubble gum. Oh, my goodness. I have to have those gumballs. I go to the Dollar Tree. I get a couple of bags. I'm a chain chewer. I just chew and chew and chew and chew till it's all gone.
Wow, until they lose the flavor.
Yeah, no.
It loses
Sometimes
flavor
you get
when
to
you
it.
put it in your mouth, baby. There's no flavor in them things.
All that sugar's like, yum. I get all that in there. Yeah.
Lord,
Yes, it's delicious.
Okay, really?
Scary.
Do you have an ultimate guilty pleasure?
Kratom.
Kratom.
That's-
Is that a drug?
That
Oh,
Mine is I like eating in the bed. I like eating like sweets in the bed. That's my like guilty pleasure.
You like eating sweets
you
everywhere.
remember that
I'm a
one
foodie.
lady said something biting on her, something done ate up. She didn't know what was chewing on her. Keep on eating in the bed. So
Ooh.
short on you now.
What, bro?
Remember?
What?
Not a
What?
a bug.
Anyways, y'all at home and tuning in on
You know
social
Willie
media.
Chow.
If y'all have a guilty pleasure, drop it down in our comments so we can read them and discuss and laugh, whatever. We're gonna get back to the show.
Welcome back to the show. This is the part where we get into all things love, relationships, life, and everything in between. Let's get into Girlfriend's Guide with Willie. So we've all heard that divorce can affect kids, but a new study just laid it all out in black and white. If your parents split before you turned 5, you could be earning less, facing higher risk of teen pregnancy, jail time, even early death. Wow. It's not just about two people separating. It's about everything that comes with it. Money struggles, moving, and less time with mom and dad. The study is putting real numbers to the pain a lot of people have lived through. So, what does this mean for the next generation?
Save yourself for marriage, honor God. What else? I don't know. But at the end of the day, I think my initial thought was that, okay, makes sense. So this is why, the initial agenda was to separate the Black family so that we could have teen pregnancy, jail time, early death. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, wow.
Well, it's the destruction of the nuclear family.
Okay.
So whenever the destruction of the nuclear family comes, you're going to have all these things because that is the unit. So you get whatever scientific they have, you get down to the core scripturally, it is important that there is a unit in family because the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And everything that was just listed there is all about killing, stealing, and destroying. So it takes your money, your mind, your heart, your emotions, and that's what divorce brings because there's a sense of separation. God only multiplies.
Okay. And what about at teens? Because it says, like, of course, when the person's 18, the study said that it doesn't really affect them. But what about as a teenager? You think it affects them at that level too, like with the 5-year-old?
I mean, I guess it would. I mean, I guess it makes sense because after, if your parents split when you're in your late teens, you still had that upbringing and that transition of seeing, two parents in one household. So fundamentally, you are at this point who you're going to be for the most part. Okay. I mean, so I guess that makes sense. But at the end of the day, I've seen people who's, when they're in college, their parents separate and they are destroyed the same way. Yeah.
A child begins to take on their mindset at the age of 2 or 3. They start forming that subconscious ability to retain information. And so they start seeing these patterns or whatever, they retain it. And then the dangerous part of it is if they see any form of abuse or neglect or whatever, they take on that. Even though they don't act that at 5, they start showing those behaviors when they're in school, when they're playing with kids. And they're not knowing why they're showing those behaviors, or even the parents may not know, because they just think, oh, they're okay because they see dad or mom on the weekends, and don't realize just how subconsciously that has destroyed their life.
But do you think it's it's not so much the divorce itself?
It is the divorce itself,
or is it all the other things that come with it?
It is the divorce itself because
those encompass
those things don't come if it wasn't for the divorce.
Okay.
So it is the.
But what if the parents are fighting in the home? It's very tumultuous in the home itself, right? So, but they stay together. You think it's as damaging as just going head on and getting a divorce?
I think you can see. I think you can see both sides. Okay. But I've seen people live in an abusive home, but because both parents are there, to them it's a security because they see both. So it's all about a psychological thing as much as it is.
Even when the stakes are high.
It is a psychological thing is what I'm saying.
Okay.
How people think, feel, their mind, will, and emotions of things.
I think it's an individual thing, to be honest.
We're talking about 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
So what?
Well, I mean, it sounds like we're talking about all age ranges within the household.
Well, you should have said that then.
Yeah. Oh.
That's right. Excuse me.
It's Freaky Friday. Okay.
Okay.
I feel like it's an individual thing because, like Tally said, like you've seen people who parents divorce when they're in college and they're just completely broken. But I feel like it's an individual thing because, like, I grew up in a household where I had both my parents. They're still together and they're very toxic together.
Wow.
Very toxic. And I don't feel like I made the decision to be a toxic person. I feel like I saw their ways and I ran the other way.
I'm going to do the opposite.
Like, I want to be a totally different person. I don't want to be nothing like my parents. I don't want a relationship like my parents, even though they're still married 32 years later. They're still married to each other. So
that's interesting.
I feel like I said, it's an individual thing. Like, you can choose. We have choices every day to choose who we want to be, regardless of the environment that we're in or raised in.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So my, question or statement is that, I remember when I was growing up and just, going through just different things as a child or a teen. And I remember I used to say to my teen pastor all the time, oh, I don't want to be like this person. I don't want to be like that person. And he used to always tell me that just because you know what you don't want to do doesn't mean you know how to do what you want to do or to get the outcome that you want. You know what I'm saying? And so, how do you guys feel about that? Like, do you feel
I feel like sometimes you do. Sometimes you can see something, like we can literally see someone hit someone, who's done nothing wrong. They just live. Like, if I hit Willie right now, you're going to know, like...
Well, he did something.
Well, I don't want... Well, he always doing something. But, you know, like, if I didn't know Willie, you know, like, Willie was a complete stranger, and I just hit him, and you knew Willie, you would know in your mind, like, well, that was wrong. Like, Willie didn't do anything, you know, to her, for her. Like, you would know that that's wrong. So if you see abuse, you know, you would automatically know, like, oh, my God, like, I don't want to be a part of an abusive relationship.
Right, but I think that, too... You know, it also, you think that you know that, and maybe you know it, but then it comes into play when those situations actually present themselves in your life to then know how to not do what you only know.
I don't know. I guess I don't know really how to answer that question other than once you see it, just remove yourself. You can always remove yourself from a situation, you know, like, especially if it's abusive. Well, yes, sometimes. I mean, well, me personally, I feel like you can always remove yourself. It's just a matter of what you're holding on to in that situation. Because if you're still there and you're allowing abuse, you're holding on to something,
right? But
instead of completely letting go.
Is so powerful.
Yes.
And to the fact that people
and it's so strong that you can just
people feel like
choose to leave.
You can, and then some people's mind is so entangled in the fact that if I leave here, I'm going to be destroyed. It's going to be worse. That
is somebody holding on to something that they're comfortable with. That's I don't know if y'all have ever seen the picture.
Sometimes
of
the unknown.
Yeah,
they're comfortable.
Well, that's a fear that they will have to escape eventually one day, or you are going to live in this abuse forever. Right. I'm going and I'm jumping over the fear gate. Yeah, I'm jumping over the gate. If I'm not going to stay in something that is abusive or ruining my peace or anything like that, I'm not staying there because I know what that looks like.
I think where I was going with it too, or you know, my thought is that, like, okay, for instance, with my parents growing up, I saw them react a certain type of way, and in my heart of hearts, I knew that there was a lot of that was great, and there was a lot of it that I absolutely wanted nothing to do with. Sure. But because that was the way that I was programmed, when I had my own kids, I started to see some of those things just start surfacing. And there were times where I was just being my dad or I was just being my mom. And so
how did you overcome that, though?
By literally diligently seeking the right information to then download it in myself and then also go back and apologize to my kids and then fix it. But naturally, even when we don't want to, our children are going to be, and we're the children. We were the children, you know? Right. And we're going to be in the world what we've seen.
Right.
No, I feel like we can choose.
But
yeah, exactly.
But you need that information.
Well, are you saying that then once you're confronted with maybe a situation maybe your parents went through, and then you see that person come out of you, and you're like, hold up. Yeah. I don't want that. Yeah. And then you say, well, I'm going to change that because I'm not going to have that chain connected to me and continue. I'm going to break that. Yeah. Break that behavior.
Because you don't know what's in you until it comes out.
Until it comes out.
And that's when you have to deal with it with the information piece. So yes, you choose, but you don't know what you're choosing if it has not risen to the surface for it.
I don't know. That's why I said I feel like it's an individual thing, because Tally might be the type of person that needs someone to tell her or needs to, you know, like seek it from someone else. But someone else like me, I just know I don't want that. You know, like in me, in my mind, like I just know I don't want to deal with that. So I'm not going to deal with that. You know, like I don't need anyone to tell me or like.
And it's not that I need someone to tell me either. And I know it's just a point you're making. Hypothetically, it could be that way. Yeah. But it's not that I know. I also would see and I also would know that I don't want that. But even in knowing what you don't want, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have the tools to create what you do want just with the information that you have.
I don't understand that.
Okay.
I don't understand. Do y'all understand that? Because I feel like y'all just looking at me.
Do you understand?
I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm trying to understand what you're trying to say.
You have to find the tools that'll help you to not be that way because you saw that.
Well, what are the tools?
Like you may grow up in a house where all y'all ate was pizza. And you know, I don't want no more pizza in my life. I don't want nothing that looks like pizza. I want chicken. Uh-huh. But you don't know how to make chicken. You just know you want chicken. So now you got to get those tools and figure out everything that you need so that you can have chicken and you don't end up making your kids pizza.
Okay, I get that. I get that correlation, but I can't see it in reference to abuse. But I get what you're saying.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Should parents stay together just for the kids' sake, even though they're miserable?
No.
No.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, you're not going to be showing that child what true love looks like.
Because eventually everything that is hidden gets revealed.
But that's what I asked before, is that divorce and all that stuff that's in it.
But children are not ignorant just because they're children.
Okay.
So they're aware of the devices that's happening around them. They may can't say nothing about it. They don't know how to respond, so they act out in other behaviors or tears or crying or anger. But eventually, as they get older, even my own personal life, I now can tell my mother the way I felt concerning something that she and my father used to do, but I couldn't at that time because I had no words for it, or you get knocked out in your teeth. So now that I'm older, I'm saying, hey, that's why I did this when I got older, because I saw those things, or that made me feel that way. So we have to be honest, with our kids, like you're going to process this, and if you ever feel this emotion, come to us. Let us help you go through that process.
Okay. What about the bounce back ability? Real quick, because they always say kids can bounce back.
Everybody don't bounce back.
I believe in being resilient.
Everybody don't come back.
I do too, but everybody ain't doing it. We know that.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's a wrap for today's show. Hope you enjoyed it. But before we sign off, we'll leave you with the quote of the day. He who is not courageous enough to take risks, will accomplish nothing in life. That's Muhammad Ali. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. We will see you next time right here on POV, only on Afro TV, darling. Good night.